In this episode, let's have a quick look at the Tascam DR-60D audio recorder and mic preamp. Check this out. If you're looking to improve the overall production value of your videos and you need to improve your sound, this is a great way to do that. It serves not only as a recorder, so you can record separately, but it also can feed the signal into your camera, and it has a much better preamplifier than pretty much any camera in the consumer range. The DR-60D does not have built-in microphones, so you need to bring your own microphones. However, you get a lot of versatility on this front. You can use pro-level XLR input mics, and you can use consumer-grade mics with 3.5mm inputs. That includes lots of lavalier mics and plenty of shotgun options as well. So overall, at a price of about $200 US in April 2014, that price may change some more, it's a really good buy. And it does have nice clean preamps, so it definitely improves your overall sound quality. First, let's run through the pros, or the positive aspects of this device. First of all is the price. I bought it in early April during the National Association of Broadcasters show, and it was $175 US. And it came with PluralEyes, which is software that allows you to sync your audio and video after the fact. So you record your audio separately, and then on your computer, you merge them together using this software. Great deal. Normally that software alone is $200. Now in late April 2014, you can still get the recorder for $195 US on Amazon and for $215 on B&H with the PluralEyes software. So links for those down below. Probably one of the biggest features from my point of view with this unit is that the preamps are relatively clean and they have plenty of gain for almost any mic. Normally with a shotgun mic, I shoot with a Rode NTG2, and that mic does not have the strongest output level, so it really needs a lot of gain from the preamplifier. And I found that the Tascam does a great job amplifying that signal. I can actually set it to medium gain, and the input level knob I can set to halfway, and I get a great clean signal. With my Tascam DR-100mkII, which I actually liked, and is still a great recorder, I actually had to turn this one to high gain and the input level to 5 out of 10, so halfway as well. I've actually heard a lot of people that are using the H4n with the Rode NTG2, same shotgun, and they complain that they typically get a pretty noisy signal, a lot of hiss in the signal, because they have to push those preamps practically to the top to get it, to get the dialogue so that it's loud enough. Now, how does this compare to something like a Beachtek or a JuicedLink preamplifier? Those guys out on the market are doing a great job. I think they're creating, those products are a little different. They're just preamplifiers. They are not recorders. So the idea with those is that you put your professional level mic into a very, they're high quality preamp, and then you feed that signal into your camera. So the camera's not doing the heavy lifting of creating a good audio signal. The preamp's doing that. I would say, and again, I have not used either one of those, JuicedLink or Beachtek. My sense is, at least on the JuicedLink, they're probably a little bit cleaner, those preamps, but I haven't found this Tascam preamp to be a problem. It's actually has more clean gain than my DR-100mkII had. Now in this case, I'm actually feeding the Rode NTG2 shotgun mic into the Tascam, and then I'm routing the Tascam line out into my Atomos Ninja 2. You can do that, or you can route it into your camera. Either way works fine. And I've actually found that the signal is really surprisingly clean coming out of the Tascam and then going into the Atomos Ninja 2. It is only a 16-bit signal. The Atomos, just like most cameras, will do the analog to digital conversion and record it to a 16-bit audio file, wave file, but I'm not finding that to be a problem at all. It seems to sound really pretty good. Now, I know in the past I've been a big preacher of, you really should record your audio at 24-bit when you can. And I can still do that. I can record to the Tascam and the Atomos at the same time without losing anything. So that works out nicely. And we're going to play around with that in my workflow for a little while here over the next few months and see how that works out. And I'll get back to you on whether or not 24-bit is really necessary for dialogue. I know Robert over at JuicedLink is definitely a proponent saying you don't need 24-bit for dialogue. For other things maybe, but for dialogue you don't. So we'll get back with you and do some more tests. One of the things I really like about the Tascam DR-60D, which I did not have on my previous recorders, was safety track recording, or what Tascam calls dual mono or dual stereo. The idea here is you plug in a microphone, and that microphone is recorded by the Tascam to two different channels on a stereo track. In one, it's recorded to the gain level that you set the unit up to, And on the second one, it records it at some number of decibels lower. So it's a little bit quieter. And the idea there is that if you get to a point where your talent laughs really loud or talks really loud, louder than the preamp can handle, and it starts to distort and clip, you'll have that safety track to drop back to, so you won't have problems with having to reshoot and things of that nature. This is a huge feature, which my other Tascam DR-100 didn't do, and I believe that the new Zoom H6 does that. I don't remember whether or not the Zoom H4n did that or not. I don't think it did, but I couldn't be sure. In any case, on the Tascam, they've got it, and it's great. Another great feature on the Tascam is it has a built-in limiter that works beautifully. Now, on the DR-100, it does have a limiter, but I never used it, and the reason I never used it was that it didn't work very well for two reasons. Number one, it did let some clips through still, and number two, when it did engage and catch the clips, it wasn't very transparent, which means that it was very obvious that something was happening. You could hear something happening. On the DR-60D, I'm finding that it's very transparent and it works really, really well. So you'll have a much higher success rate of capturing audio that doesn't clip and distort. Another nice little feature is that the screen is readable in full daylight. It is in just a very simple LCD screen. It's not as fancy as the new Zoom H6's screen. And while the Zoom H6 screen is very fancy, it doesn't work very well out in the daylight. Not a problem on the DR-60D. One other thing, I love that it has all the buttons and knobs that you need, so it's very easy to operate that unit. You don't have to go diving into the menu very often. Unlike most of the Zoom products, again, I haven't tested the Zoom H6 yet, but I know, for example, the Zoom H4n, the Zoom H2, you had to do a lot of menu diving, and that got pretty annoying at times. I love also that I can record to both the camera or my Atomos Ninja 2 and to the Tascam at the same time. So I get the insurance of a backup file. I also get the benefit of being able to record a 24-bit on the Tascam and replace the audio in the camera clip if I need to do a lot of post-processing, for example. Now, of course, as with anything, there are a few cons to this device. Number one is battery life. Heard a lot of people complain about this. I am using Eneloop batteries. It takes 4 AA's. And I'm getting about 3 hours of record time when I'm powering mics with phantom power. So you have to decide for yourself whether or not that's an issue. For me, typically I'm not shooting anything longer than that, or if I do, I'll bring another set of 4 batteries and swap them out at some point when I can. For some of you that are doing long form video, maybe that could be a problem, and so you'll probably need to either find another solution altogether or find a way to work around it. There are a couple of things you can do. Tascam's site says that with the Eneloop Pro batteries, and I think in the United States those are called Eneloop XX, you can actually get a little more time. So I get about 3 hours. They say you get about 5 hours when you're recording without XLR phantom power. I don't know. My mics require phantom, so I'm using it. And then if you use these Eneloop Pro or Eneloop XX batteries, you can improve that to about 3 hours and 45 minutes with XLR phantom power, or you can increase it to about 6 hours without. So that's pretty good. For my purposes, that's plenty. For some of you, that may be an issue, so something to consider. There is another potential solution, though. A lot of people are using these USB battery packs that are primarily designed, I believe, to power, actually to recharge mobile devices. But you can plug it directly into the Tascam and power the Tascam with one of those. And those have much higher milliwatt hour ratings, and so you can usually probably get a lot more time out of those if that is an issue for you. One other issue that other reviews have cited is that the input level knobs, where you kind of set the trim for the input level for each mic, is not a smooth continuous knob, but it actually steps. So as you turn it, it goes do 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 do, kind of like that. And I know, for example, Robert over at JuicedLink, when he did his comparison of the Tascam DR-60D to his preamps, that was one of the things he cited. I actually don't think that's as big of an issue as some are making it out to be, for a couple of reasons. If you're using this primarily to record dialogue doesn't seem to be as affected by that. If it's a continuous, sound, yeah, you'll obviously hear it. But if it's dialogue, it's not. It's a little bit more transparent. You can't really tell. And typically, I'm not riding the gain that much. So for me, not an issue. And then finally, as we've mentioned before, there are no built-in mics with this. I don't see that really as a con, but it is something you should know. If you're looking for something that has built-in mics, this is not the unit for you. What I love about this is that they got rid of the built-in mics, which saved them some cost in terms of building the overall unit, and instead put some features in that I think are probably more worthwhile in terms of versatility And so overall, I think it's a great unit. So what kind of workflows does this work well for? I think this is actually helpful for me because this is the first time I've really gotten to a point where I could more seamlessly capture all of my footage and sound at once without having to do any syncing in post. So we're going to try this for a while and see how it goes. So far, it's looking very promising where I could potentially streamline my workflow by not having to do that syncing in post anymore. It is and I'm shooting mostly in studio or settings where we're not moving the camera around a lot. If you're moving the camera around a lot, I don't know how well this is going to work. You're going to have to rig something up. If you're using wireless systems, you could put the Tascam and your wireless receiver all on your rig, and I suppose that could work pretty well. I think it's probably really better suited for use on a tripod. I don't know, maybe you guys have a different opinion. For me, I think it fits my workflow pretty well, which is mostly interviews and kind of head and shoulder, talking head types of shots. So I think for me, it's a great fit into my workflow. And hopefully the things we talked about here today will help you decide whether or not it fits your workflow nicely as well. So thanks for checking out this episode. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and do that. And we'll be sure to get you more great videos on how to improve your lighting and sound for video. Talk to you soon.